Hey, hey, time for some more letting the world know about the cult through the ingenious use of flyer tech. So let's go on a little adventure and meet dude and figure out exactly how we're gonna get the entire world aware of the evils of the cult. So, time to do a little bit more damage today with my friend Eric Rader. Hello. Still haven't gotten the right phone holder. Good afternoon. So I will let you see straight ahead as I chat with you guys, and you can watch the freeway conditions of Los Angeles. And I am running late, embarrassingly, but I'll catch him out there on the streets. He'll be ahead of me in the flyer game, but I will catch up. Since he's gotten his magical staple hammer, the guy has been relentless at putting multiple flyers on one pole. And that's pretty cool, you know. I haven't thought of doing that before, but it makes a lot of sense. Because once people read one flyer, then if they see like 5 more on the same pole, that's pretty exciting. You know, they get a lot of different angles of information. And hopefully they'll go to sptv.space and get fully addicted like many of you. So, because it is a kind of addictive thing. Did you guys see how they put all those planners out there where the occupation was? I don't know if that was actually Scientology or the city that did that. I think Scientology might have gotten the city of LA to do that for them. If you haven't seen it, you will. But basically, there's a bunch of planters with trees in them. The thing is, those planters look exactly the same as what the city of LA puts up when they clear a homeless encampment, and then they put these trees there in these big planters in order to make it impossible for the homeless people to come back. So I guess since DOA claimed homelessness to the police, you know, which wasn't totally a lie or anything, but, you know, from what DOA was saying, and I don't know the laws, but basically it was like they need to give homeless encampments a 72-hour notice to shut things down. They can't just come and throw them, you know, out into the street. They need to give them some warning. And so, you know, that was something that DOA could use, you know, to make them not shut it down right away that minute. But after it all cleared out, they put up those planters, and, you know, Scientology put up planters, empty ones, I guess, for the most part, or at least half, on L. Ron Hubbard Boulevard, because they were afraid that's where the occupation was going to happen. And it didn't, and it never was going to. That was never the plan. But, you know, DOA kind of, you know, made them think it might be. So Anyway, the planters that are put up now on Fountain Avenue are the planters that the LA city puts up against after homeless encampments are cleared. It's not the same ones that Scientology puts up. So we will see what happens with that. But apparently they might be violating some disability ordinances by putting those planters up. And so what's happening is people are calling 311, which is the non-emergency kind of city number, as opposed to 911. And so they, if you call and basically say, hey, I'm in a wheelchair and I couldn't get out of my car because there are these planters blocking the sidewalk here, I need to go there in my wheelchair, then maybe they got to come and take the planters down. So the ongoing sagas, and this is where we want the drama. Right, people? We want the drama to be between us and Scientology, and maybe with the cops and politicians in the middle. That's fine too. But we kind of want it to be like that. So, on our way to fresh new flyering grounds where we can make an impact and where we can hopefully help some people avoid the disaster of joining or being pulled into a highly destructive cult. And I'm going to be running late, and I hate that. Let's see. And I just want to say, I saw the stream. Natalie was so brave. It's almost making me cry right now just saying that. I mean, for Natalie to get up and do that stream today, I'm sure a lot of you guys saw it, but oh my God, the courage, to show that love, that vulnerability, to be able to tell her story, it really impacted me a lot. And I haven't seen that much of Tony, but I saw that last stream or whatever they did, and he seemed like the coolest dude ever. What a loss. What a loss. That was really hard to watch, but it was really impressive for somebody to be able to just sit in their heart energy like that and be able to cry and have their emotions and know that she's amongst friends. And even though I've never met her, what a lovely person she is. And I hope I do get to meet her sometime. Natalie, my condolences, and I feel utter admiration, to tell you the truth. Utter admiration for the honesty, the vulnerability, the openness, being willing to share her deepest pain with this community is extraordinary, and really like a gift to us that, I mean, there's people that talk a lot of shit, and I've seen a lot of stuff on the Scientology protest subreddit with people trying to drum up a lot of drama, very unnecessarily. And, and I'm sure a huge amount of it is OSA. But not all. But they set a certain tone. But in my personal experiences with this community, I have never seen such a genuine, open group of people. And I've been to about 8,000 spiritual seminars and stuff, and really cool, mind-blowing stuff. But this is a level of vulnerable honesty that you just don't see hardly ever. And Natalie is like, I don't know, she's an inspiration to me. And the conscious way of dealing with this situation, with this passing, the way that they were, first of all, I noticed in the YouTube video or live stream, whatever they were doing together, they weren't talking about like, yeah, we know what's going to happen and whatever, but they were making very clear that, they weren't deluding themselves of where this was going. And most people do. And I really think it's a disservice to people that are on the way of dropping the body. I think it's a really disservice to those people when everybody's like, you're gonna get better, it's gonna be better, and you're gonna be surfing next week or playing tennis or whatever your thing is. And it's like, no, you're not. No, this person is on the way out. Let's give them the respect of this. And that's what Natalie did. That's what they did together, with a high level of consciousness, awareness, presence, reality, realism. It's one of the few times I've seen that. Like I was a little bit upset, but you can't get upset too much at a dying person. But when my mom was on her way out, it was like complete denial of the reality. It was like every phone conversation was as if nothing was happening. And I'm not saying anybody needs to dwell on it too much. It's not about that's the only thing that you're talking about. But let's not be in denial of it. Why should somebody be on the way out of this lifetime pretending like nothing's going on? I think I've had thoughts of like volunteering for hospice, and that's probably something that I'll do eventually. And as all the baby boomers age out of the system over the next few decades, I think there's going to be a difference in terms of the way that people depart this reality. And I'm sure it's all because of L. Ron Hubbard, don't you think? L. Ron Hubbard set the standard by dropping his body to continue his research. On other levels, the body was an impediment to the amazing research of L. Ron Hubbard. So yeah, sure, dude. But no, seriously though, Natalie, you set an example of love and honesty and, consciousness, like presence, awareness, like not being full of shit. Thank you. And Tony, what a dude, man. That guy. Just seemed like a guy you'd really want to hang out with. From what little I've seen of him, it's like, oh man, if I met that guy, I'd really want to be friends with him, I'm quite sure. No doubt in my mind about that. So anyway, on to flyer tech. Time to flyerize some people to protect the world from the cult. And come on, traffic. Anyway, I guess it's about 80 degrees. Not sure what that is in Celsius, because my time in the Celsius lands of the world were generally at under 80 degrees. They would have been thrilled. They probably would have not even been able to deal, like in Sweden. But anyway, 80 degrees, I guess it's about 28? That'd be my guess. Not sure, but that would be my guess. 28. Am I right or am I right? Greetings from Sweden. Hello. Oh, the netting. Yeah. That's a danger, right? That is a total danger. If somebody tripped on that, oh my God, that would be a lawsuit. And plus, Scientology is on video doing that, so they can't bullshit. Magnus in the house. Yeah, you heard that 72 hours, about that 72-hour rule? Cool. Okay. Well, anyway, I am under the high-level stress of making Eric wait, but he's not going to wait. He won't wait. If anybody's on there, just if anybody's on his too, you can let him know I'm nearby, but I will find him. It's pretty easy to find a guy that's putting up those flyers. I know the roads that he will be using, that we will be flyering. I know the area, so I'll figure it out. And hopefully it won't take forever to get there. look ahead and not at me. So I don't know, it looks like a little bit of the certain dramas have died down a little bit. I don't know if that's true or not, but looks like it from my perspective. Now that we have integrated the experience of the occupation, we can get back to our stinging wasp strategy and go with multiple simultaneous forms of interbulation. Impossible to protect against, unpredictable. You know, we're giving them the gift of our unpredictability. And it's so cool also when you are farther away from the Scientology zone and you notice the attention that people pay when we're putting up flyers here, well, anywhere that's more than like 2 miles from the nearest Scientology location, when you put up flyers there, people really notice. People are walking down the street and they notice it and they stop and they read, and you know they're thinking, why is this here? And you know they haven't seen a lot of it before, so that's really cool. And you know, so it gets a lot of attention with people who haven't necessarily been exposed. People like us, we always think, like, at least I do, you know, I assume everybody knows certain bullet point facts about Scientology. But really they don't. Most people don't know a lot. Most people haven't necessarily seen the documentaries or Leah Remini's show. I mean, most people have a negative view of Scientology, absolutely. Some people think it's a cult, probably most. Some people think it's some weird religion that Tom Cruise is in, John Travolta. You know, people know those kind of bullet point things. They have those bullet point facts at their fingertips. But they don't know much more than that. They don't know details. And I mean, even for somebody like me who's been basically studying this stuff for decades, it's still like I'm learning new stuff all the time. And I feel like I don't really know that much. So if I don't know that much, then yeah, the average person that just walking down the street and seeing a flyer, what's the chance they know that much? I mean, in a country where most people can't even find North America on a map, you know, can't expect them to know the intricacies of the cult of Scientology, for sure. We cannot imagine that everybody just knows all of that. There is no possibility that that is the case. Got to keep that in mind. But, you know, I'm always grateful for Eric, like, and his strategy and his insider knowledge of this cult, because, you know, he knows what's going to hurt him and what's going to just be shrugged off. And I mean, there is almost no more crucial information than that. Because, like he was saying, we could spend all this time putting flyers up around Big Blue to be taken down 2 hours later and only seen by the people taking them down or neighborhood people walking down the street that already have their opinions about Scientology. They know about it more than the average person because it's right there in their neighborhood. It's like the minute you move into the neighborhood around Big Blue, you're probably talking to neighbors about, oh shit, Scientology's right there. You're probably talking to the realtor as you're looking to move, and so it's something that's gonna make you want to Google it. If you see that there's some documentary about Scientology coming out, you're probably way more likely to watch that show when you live right around Big Blue. You see these weirdos walking around in their fake Navy uniforms, and you're like, oh, what the hell is this? Oh, yeah, I gotta watch that documentary. I want to find out a little bit more. So, if they see our flyer, what's it gonna do? It's nice. It's a reminder for those who haven't, taken the time to investigate. It's a good reminder to do it, but you compare that with going to anywhere else where there is no Scientology. Ideally, I think going places where there is no Scientology or where there are very small Scientology orgs, that's some of the best thing you could do, because like Eric said, you can shut down a small org a lot easier than you're ever going to shut down Clearwater or LA, because every small Scientology org is dying. Without the money of the whales, they would be dead. They would be so downsized that it would be a joke. All you would need for most Scientology locations is like a 2-room office. Most Scientology locations that fill up an entire building, they could get by on a reception area and 1 or 2 little auditing rooms, and rent out a conference room somewhere if you really need one. They'd be fine with that. And they would not have those rooms filled at all times either. No way. So, meanwhile, they have these historical buildings, that are oftentimes really gorgeous architecture, and they're empty. And they're way overloaded with Sea Org beyond what is necessary for the job that they're doing. It's a very inefficient use of space. And it's all kept afloat by the rich Scientologists donating hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, the whales, the goobers, the dumbasses. And so, these people are sitting in their little orgs and they're hearing the BS from Miscavige about how well all the other places are doing. And they're getting their butts kicked and they're told, like, Austin just had its ideal org opening. It's breaking all records. Meanwhile, nothing's happening in Austin. But if you're in Chicago, you don't necessarily know that. And of course you don't think David Miscavige is lying to you. That couldn't be the deal, right? And so, you think, what's wrong with us? But they got no strategy for getting any new people. They got nothing. I mean, how many of you have sat down? But anyway, for those of you still with me, Eric is already there, but he just got there, so I guess I don't have to feel that bad about being as late as I am, because I'm only going to be about 10 minutes later than him. So, anyway, sorry if that phone call cut the live stream or what it did. It looked like it did, because when I got back to you guys, it said you're live or whatever. So anyway, sorry to hang up on you guys if that's what I did. So let's see what we have here. So Eric basically said it was kind of hard to figure out the perimeter of the school. He didn't see a lot of good targets. So I'm going to go pick him up in the car, and then we're going to do a little reconnoitering around the place and see what we figure out. And then and hopefully we can have an impact. One of our themes is making people at colleges aware of the dangers of Scientology. Because, obviously if we can inform people of college age, that could save them for the rest of their lives. Because most people that know anything about Scientology, there's nothing you could do to talk them into Scientology. I mean, it's just an instant no way for most people, if they know anything at all. That's why, when Streets and me and everybody would be on at the Hollywood Testing Center, when they would bring people in, they would specifically not tell them it's Scientology. And so for most of those people, all you had to do is just say, it's Scientology, don't do it. And they're like, oh shit, it's Scientology? Oh, hell no. I mean, I would say from my rough estimate, it was like, I'd say at least like 2/3 of people, all you needed to tell them when they were being body routed into the org, the only thing you needed to tell them to get them to not do it was, it's Scientology. And that was enough. Other people, they'd be kind of, well, what does that mean? They'd look a little bit confused when you said it's Scientology, so then you had to tell them a few more little tidbits. But most people, you just say, don't do it, it's Scientology, it's Scientology, it's Scientology. And they're like, oh shit, hell no, thank you. You know, they are grateful that you warned them. You know, of course, we wouldn't just say that. We'd say it's a cult, it's Scientology, don't do it, blah, 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 you know. But all you really have to say is it's Scientology, man. It's Scientology. So, yeah, we want all of these people to have the same kind of thing, where that's where you want people to be. Where all you have to say is it's Scientology and people go running for the hills. Not really hard for us to make that happen. Seriously. Scientology. Look, if you had a reputation as bad as Scientology, you'd be screwed. You would have no future in life. Unless you have a couple $1 billion to hide behind like they do. Otherwise, forget it. You would have nothing. Where the hell is this place? I think I might be messing up a little bit on my directionality, but we'll get it all figured out. Bump. So I'm definitely noticing a difference, like last time with Eric, doing this work in the heat. I mean, he called it before. It's like, it's a little bit rough getting in and out of the car, putting the things up, you know, being in the situational awareness that is required for these activities. Yeah, it's a little tricky. And it's a little exhausting when you're in that direct sunlight getting broiled. It's a little rough, but we're gonna be finding some locations where thousands of people will be benefiting from our message. And that is the purpose. So this area, if you're following along on your Google Maps or something, this is Northridge. This is where there was a big earthquake. God, I guess in the 90s or something. I think it'd be in the 90s. But to give you a context of this earthquake, I mean, you know, it was a serious one. My brother at the time was about 20 miles away from the epicenter. The epicenter of that earthquake was right around where we are now. 20 miles away, my brother was sleeping when that earthquake hit. And the earthquake threw him out of his bed from 20 miles away. That's no joke. That's a serious earthquake. Most earthquakes in California, by far, I mean, most earthquakes are not detectable by the human body. You know, they're only detectable by machine, because there's like hundreds of earthquakes a day, basically, but they're tiny. And even the earthquakes that are bigger, you know, like 5.5, whatever. There was one that I felt, the last one that I felt, I think it was around that range. And it was, I don't know, 50 miles away, 75 miles away, something like that. And, you know, it was the kind of thing of like, from that distance, like, oh, I think I just felt an earthquake. But, you know, it wasn't really scary or anything. But where it happened in Ojai, it barely did any damage. You know, I don't think it was doing the equivalent of throwing people out of their beds or anything like that. So, yeah, it was pretty minor. But I think what it is that each point on the scale as you go up, it's 7 times stronger. Let's try this one. So yeah, it is so anyway, yeah, this whole area, and what happened is there's a lot of apartment buildings that had the apartments on the 2nd and 3rd floor, and the ground floor was oh my god, I probably shouldn't have done this. Train tracks. Okay. The ground floor was parking garage and very badly supported. So what happened around Northridge is that a lot of the buildings fell down onto the cars in the garage, smashed the cars, of course, and messed it all up. And, you know, this is where the fatalities occurred and the bad things happened. You know, people think it's like non-stop earthquakes in California. Not really. I grew up in California, and I never even felt an earthquake ever at all until I was like in my mid-20s. So Earthquakes are not that common, actually. It's actually kind of a rare thing. And the super strong, deadly ones, I mean, ones that really cause that damage are like, that cause any severe damage at all like that, you know, they're like kind of every couple decades or something. Hopefully this is a place I can drive through, and it's not just the, let's see. I think I might just be in some company or whatever. I want a real street, please. Okay. I messed up. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, Eric. Okay, let me see if I can look at my... Let me see if I can get some better information here while I have you on. Can I look at other things too? This is the question. Let's see. Sorry. Okay. Nordic skin. Well, you know, you say that about Nordic skin not surviving flyer tech. What I noticed a lot about a lot of Nordic skin, I knew a lot of people in Sweden who were basically immune to sunburn, it seemed. Not that they wouldn't get sunburned, but they just stay in the sun. My ex-girlfriend in Sweden, I mean, she would go in May, she'd go down to Greece to be in the sun, and that's all. Like, there was no interest in Greece or Greek culture or whatever. It was like, we're going to the sun. And she and her mom would lie out in the sun, like literally like 8 hours a day. They would do nothing all day long except just be in the sun soaking up rays. And they'd be like, oh yeah, we get a sunburn, sure, but then we just keep going. And then, you know, it'd peel off and then we'd be tanned underneath that. I'm like, what the hell? Like, how the hell does that work? You're Swedes. You're supposed to not be able to handle that. Man, they could handle it better than me. But I noticed that about a lot of Northern Europeans. They were so hungry for the sun. They didn't care if they got a sunburn or practically sunstroke. You know, they just like, the more the better. I knew this wild English, or I met this wild English guy in Mexico, and the guy was so sunburnt on his shoulders. I mean, it was like burning through his skin, and he just kept going out in the sun. He did not care. I mean, I was like, I would have been in the hospital with that kind of burn, and this guy was just like, yeah, back in the water, yeah, out in the sun all day long. The other day I was telling my daughter I was happy, like, out here doing the flyer tech was actually, and the protesting has given me a better tan on my face than I had in years. And she's like, skin cancer. And I'm like, nope, healthy, vitamin D. Man, this generation, they've really gotten The sun has been very demonized. Come on. I hate to make anybody wait. I'm so glad that he was there like 25 minutes late too, so thank Jesus, man. You don't want to piss off a Raider or a Viking. Nobody in those kind of categories. What's the difference between a Raider and a Viking? Which one is a subset of the other? I mean, obviously, like, Vikings were raiders, kind of, right? They did a lot of raiding. This looks promising. Also, I'm doing it old school by memory. As you can see, that's not working too well. No GPS. But I know we're right there now. I know we're really close. But from what Eric was saying, where he was, he couldn't see any poles that were that were wooden telephone poles that he can use the stapler on. So that kind of limits, he found the best flyer tech, or the best way to put up flyers is on these wooden telephone poles using the staple gun. The problem is most of the stuff around is not the wooden telephone poles. Most of it is like metal street light poles or whatever. So you don't have as many, and in some areas you have no telephone poles or electric poles that are wooden like that. So, sometimes there's huge areas with nothing. Sticker paper is cheap. I thought it would be very expensive compared to like just paper. Let's see what we got. Probably this next left should be it, if I remember correctly. That doesn't ring a bell as the name of the street I'm looking for, but let us see. is. Definitely not him. Okay. Okay, you guys, I'm going to have to get out of this stream so I can figure my shit out. I will start it up right away after that. So I'm so sorry, but I don't know how to do it any other way. And I will be back within 5 minutes. See you then, I hope. Bye-bye.